Would you like to take this one, Jackson? It's been a very long time.
Hello, everyone out there. I'm Jackson. This is the official podcast. We're here with extremely sad news today. Just found out, hot off the press, the creator of the Lego minifigure has passed away at the age of 78. I just want a minute of silence for Jens Knudsen.
Let's do a podcast of silence. Everyone leave.
That's what Jens would have wanted.
What is the Lego minifigure?
The typical
little
Lego figure.
Yeah, action figures.
It's become so synonymous with Lego. I didn't know it had its own little name.
Mm-hmm. So he's passed away. He's left this corporeal dimension. I hope he's up in Lego heaven or whatever that is.
The Lego heaven system.
The Lego heaven set. Yeah.
Don't they sell that? Yeah. So apparently he died from ALS in hospice. He was in the hospital for a week, and that's where he passed. That's 87, I think. Yeah.
78.
78. Okay. Well, still.
Yeah, you got it the wrong way around. But yeah, that's sad. That's sad. He was a big part of my childhood and right now. So thank you, Jens, for your service.
And he invented, I read right now that he, the space and the pirate themes apparently were his inventions, Jackson, if you like those.
No, I don't. I hate them. But I appreciate him still.
All right. Might as well just take a piss on Jens's grave then. But no, thank you, Jens.
Do you like anything that man's done, Jackson?
I said I like the minifigures. He did good with that kind of invention. It impacted everything. It created Lego to be what it is now.
You do not hate the space theme. You're big time into Star Wars. That's space.
No, it's not the space theme. The space theme is just like NASA ships and stuff, I imagine.
Yeah, you're splitting hairs. It's space. It's in space. You like them. Come on. You're going to miss him. Poor man.
No, of course I'm going to miss him. He was like a father to me. My Dutch father.
He gave you little figures to play with. It was cute. According to Lego, it was decided when the figure was created that it, besides having a yellow face with a neutral, happy expression, would have no sex or race, as these would be determined by the child's imagination and play. That is cute.
See, that's all he cared about.
That is cute.
Yeah.
All he cared about was giving children the tools to be creative, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They were also super smart in designing those tools. So a Lego minifigure is exactly 4 Lego bricks high, so that for every Lego set, it just fits right in there perfectly.
Fits right in where?
Like, if you have any Lego set and any other minifigures, they'll all be compatible with each other because the heights are exactly the same, basically.
Oh, like there was a design brief across all of them.
Yeah. I watched a whole documentary on Lego, and they're super, adamant on calling it a system and saying, like, it's a brick system and having all these schematics and exact design details and all this shit. And one of them was that all the minifigures, except ones that are made specifically to be shorter, but every standard minifigure is 4 Lego bricks high, so that no matter what Lego brick set you buy, it'll work with it and it'll fit in it.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the point
where
where
they have to everything.
Fit together the bricks. Otherwise, it would be a little frustrating.
Yeah.
So, not to steer too far away, but I think we should also have a moment of silence for Daredevil Mad... No, Jesus.
What?
Someone much more important. Daredevil Mad Mike Hughes. He was the flat earther who'd been vowing to take a rocket to space to prove the Earth was flat, and he died yesterday.
Let's just dedicate this episode to heroes. Hang on, there's so many people that died, apparently. I have a bunch of tabs, so okay, let's start with Daredevil. We just did Jens the Lego Man.
He just has a whole obituary on his browser. He just browses who died.
Dude, we can't just like this past week, so many people passed, and I want to go through all of them. They're all sort of interesting, heroic. This is an episode dedicated to heroes.
Yeah, I'd say Mad Mike's send out was probably the most heroic. You're not going to find like a more storybook ending. He'd been trying for years to get this rocket high enough to like definitively prove the Earth is flat. And yesterday during his recent rocket attempt, he died in a crash. So
Do you think that he got high enough to see the Earth was round and then blew himself up out of shame?
no, what I expected was you'd see him take off into the sky and then like a NASA missile just takes him out before he learns the truth.
Yeah, do we even know he died?
Yeah, it's a good
Well, there is
question.
a
Has he
video of it.
ascended?
I bet there's
Yeah,
already
there's a-
conspiracy theories saying that he was taken out. You know, his rocket was sabotaged by the NSA or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he's on a 2D plane above us right now.
Hey
laughing
man,
at us.
everyone makes mistakes. Didn't the Challenger or something blow up when NASA was trying to send it into space?
Yep, and killed 7 astronauts.
That was a pretty big mistake. Plus, did you guys know that Big Bird was scheduled to be on that flight?
There's an alternate dimension where instead of that teacher at the end, it was going to be Big Bird from fucking
Yeah, it's-
Sesame Street.
That's one of my favorite factoids. Is Big Bird was
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he was though? What if he like was able to save the entire launch?
You just see Big Bird's beak fly out of the explosion.
Yellow feathers rain down on the
His
spectators.
flaming
It's like
corpse
cartoon.
re-entering. Yeah.
Do you think if that were to happen?
chicken breast.
Imagine if that happened. Imagine all the small kids that would be watching.
Yeah.
Look, Susie, Big Bird's gonna be on the rocket. Yay!
That's what I was going to say. Do you
Explosion.
think, like, if it actually did happen and Big Bird did blow up on the Challenger, do you think they'd actually write that into the Sesame Street? Like, he just wouldn't show up anymore?
Well, yeah, it's a good question. What would they do?
It'd be a bummer, but I don't see how you'd be able to get around that. It'd be kind of disrespectful to whoever was inside Big.
Yeah, that'd be weird. What would you do?
They should
That
put
actually
all the
would be so
mascots,
disrespectful.
send them all to space. Barney the dinosaur, all of the original Teletubbies, Big Bird, Kermit the Frog. Put them all in a fucking spaceship and blow them up in orbit.
Imagine if Big Bird did
Just to prove a point.
No,
Imagine
just
if
to
he
give
did
parents
die
a
on
respite.
Challenger, and like the guy who was in the suit just wasn't known or anything. He didn't get an obituary. It was just Big Bird died. Whoever's in the suit just is forgotten.
Oh man,
His
yeah, they
name
do
is,
that shit. Have you guys seen this news about a guy who died? He was a bus driver for children, and they buried him in a casket that looks like a school bus.
What the fuck?
That's cute though.
It's not
What's
cute.
wrong with
It's
that?
fucking miserable. It's like that's all you were as
Oh,
a
maybe
bus
he would have
driver.
wanted it.
No, you're on a short
Yeah,
bus
but
to
He
hell.
wanted it.
Funerals are more for the living anyway.
Oh yeah, that's the highest point. He's fucking dead. Doesn't matter what we do with him. It's for us. Make it a spectacle.
Let's kick his corpse around. Let's
I've
put
always
it in
said,
Yeah,
I've always
the
said
driver's
that when
seat of
I
a
die,
bus.
I want like the stupidest, dumbest ideas that people can think of to be done at my funeral in my body. Like I want to be like drawn and quartered by horses, or I want to be like, I don't know, smothered in grease and thrown down a hill just for fun and bet on how fast I get down. It's like I'm dead. Who fucking cares what they do with my body?
I do.
least that's
My
what I
children,
think.
wife, a lot of people.
Yeah,
We
but
can
it's
do
for
that
them,
to
not
you,
for
though.
you. So what if his family wanted him to be in the school bus forever? Then it's great.
Fuck
It
his
worked out
family.
perfectly.
It's just such a shitty way to go. But that's so fucking stupid. Don't you see? If you died and we buried you in a casket that looks like a fucking microphone, it just come on. He was a little bit more than that.
Are we more than this?
Yeah, are we more than this to most people? Probably not.
Well, not to
Probably
most
not at
people.
all.
It's not like your fans are gonna come to your funeral, but for your mom, do you think she'd like to see you get buried in a microphone capsule?
Fuck yeah. She'd be the one burying me.
We should make a Lego mausoleum for Jackson.
Ooh, yeah, a huge Lego themed funeral.
That's actually a good idea.
Little
I'm
Jackson
down for it.
miniatures.
We could do that. We could just get a bunch of like random parts and assemble it into a little mausoleum.
What would your guys' ideal funerals be then?
Well, I said
None.
mine. I want like my body
Immortality.
to do
Yeah,
stupid shit.
immortality.
God, that's such a boring answer. You guys are boring.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we don't
What
have
did you
to go
say you
down
wanted
this
your
road
body
again,
to do?
Andrew.
You wanted your body contorted into a dick sucking thing or something? What was
Absolutely. And then I'd want it put on a jet ski and sailed across the ocean like at 70 miles an hour Then I'd want it shot out of a cannon and everyone has to watch and take photos. And then I'd want it like exploded like a whale on the beach. Like, I don't know, something fun and interesting. You
Do you
guys
like
are going to
being
die.
bullied?
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, it sounds like you just want to be the
I'm dead.
butt
Who
of the joke.
cares?
Like, I hope they give me wedgies and swirlies to my corpse.
Yeah. I hope they tie
push
me
me
up on
around.
strings and make me, I hope they tie me up on strings and make me breakdance like the end of a DreamWorks movie. I think that'd be awesome. Do
That's
whatever
a
you
weird-
want. I don't
Is this
care.
a
I'm
weird
dead.
fetish
Who
you have?
gives a
You want to be
shit?
defiled after death?
Sure. But come on, you guys can't just say, I don't want to die. Ugh. Give us a fucking answer. What would
I
your
assume
funeral
you
be?
guys have seen that funeral where like there's people dressed up dancing in like that scene, you know, that special kind of scene.
Cybergoth.
Yeah, cybergoth. That's it. You guys have seen those kinds of funerals?
Yeah.
No, which one is that?
Fuck. This is an audio podcast. I don't know if we can show it anyone. I guess I could get Danny to put it on the screen.
I'll
No,
describe it.
don't.
He won't do it.
the-
Don't bother.
It's a podcast, Jackson. No, it's just there was a cybergoth guy who died, and then at the funeral, his cybergoth friends dressed up in cybergoth and did their dance routine over his corpse.
Mm,
Oh, I've seen
beautiful.
that.
yeah,
I
That's
wouldn't
a-
mind something
thanks.
like that.
That's a little boring, though.
How
like-
is a stage performance boring?
Yeah, they didn't shove him in a
Stay-
locker. It's boring to Andrew. They didn't take his
They're
lunch
trained
money out of his
dancers.
corpse pocket.
Hold on 1 second.
Hey, you guys still haven't answered the question.
I want a nice,
What would
dignified
my
funeral.
ideal?
So you want
Whoa.
like the traditional one where you're in the casket and people show up in suits and talk about how great you were?
No, they don't have to talk about how great I was, but I don't know, a regular nice funeral. It doesn't have to be fancy or super highbrow. I just like people to not spit on my corpse, which seems to be what you're into.
Sure. Yeah, I specifically want them to stomp it and then call me a loser on the internet. You're right. That's what I said. And not rad shit like have people have a slam dunk contest where my corpse holds up a sign judging it.
They take a Sharpie and just write retard on your forehead. All right, bury him.
Exactly what I said. How did you
Bury
know?
him upside down.
With my feet sticking out and then people start kicking my legs.
Let's turn him into a punching bag. Like sell
I
him
don't know.
some rich fucker.
I think funerals are. I mean, it's what Jackson said. They're for the people still alive, but I think even that they're too. I don't know. How do I describe it? They're too sad. Like, yes, they're a time to grieve and feel awful, but I think you should celebrate a person's life rather than languish in their death. You know. So I would love for my corpse to be used for a bunch of rad shit, like
Yeah,
I don't know,
celebrating
stuff
your
with
life
fireworks and blow me up in the atmosphere.
The time
Something
to
fun,
celebrate
you know?
life is when you're
Yeah.
still alive with
Yeah.
them. To me, I want to be, 1 day of mourning isn't too much. It's not asking for too much. Someone fucking died. You can put on a black
I don't
shirt.
want to be a
Come on.
bother.
No, of course, mourning is acceptable, but the funeral isn't usually right after you die. It's like, I don't know, a month or so afterwards.
Well, I
So-
want it right after I die. Is that?
I don't know. I just think a funeral would be
Right.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you say?
Like as soon as
Jackson?
my heart stops beating, that's when the funeral starts. I want them to just drag in a coffin.
You should hire a priest to follow you around, and as soon as you keel over, he just starts reading you right.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, I think the best option would be like just to be incinerated, cremated, or whatever, and then spread among all of your friends and family, and have them consume your ashes so that you live on inside them
That was one I thought
for the
of,
rest
yeah.
of their lives. Yeah, I think that'd be.
Yeah.
You
Just
wouldn't live
wise.
on inside them for the rest of their lives. They'd shit you out.
Yeah.
No, what they could do is get a tattoo with your ashes in the ink. That'd be cool.
Hmm.
If someone gets my name across their back, it's got my
All right.
ashes
Well, what
in the
about
ink.
this? You take the ashes and you finger paint my face out of the ashes onto a portrait. So
Give
then,
it to
then
toddlers.
it's like I'm kind of there.
Yeah, little babies. Give it to a daycare and have them play with it on the floor in a big mess.
Yeah, like make
Great.
a Play-Doh kind of sculpture of me, and then that can be like I've continued on in some way.
No. How about you, Charlie?
I don't know, dude.
They really wanted us to answer, so what's your ideal funeral?
They think I'm dead, but I'm immortal, so I stand up and surprise everyone. And that's how I make a grand announcement.
Fucking lame. Come up
Why
with
would
something
you?
different.
Yeah. Why would you throw the funeral in the first place then?
I don't know. I think it'd be a cool way of announcing your immortality.
That's true.
Yeah. You have me
Yeah, do you
there.
know those how some cemeteries have those little bells attached to the casket? So if somebody was unintentionally buried alive, they can ring the bell to let the local, I don't know, gravedigger know that they're still alive. You could ring that. You could fucking sing them a song with that damn thing
Yeah.
to
Send
let them
them
know
Morse
you're
code, but no
still
one's
alive.
listening.
Now the problem
Well, I'd rather
is,
not-
Suicide.
if no one's
I
there to
wouldn't let it
hear
go
it,
that far.
you're stuck down there.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that
Immortality or
far.
no.
I'd probably do it like as they were carrying the coffin out. Like I'd bust out and surprise everyone.
Ooh. Oh, you could choreograph it with like, just as you bust out, you also have a cake brought in with a stripper in it. She also busts out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But she's dead.
and a
She's-
bunch of disco lights, and like "We Like to Party" starts playing, and all that shit. That'd be great.
She's dead, and you put her in the coffin instead.
Well, that life force had to come from someplace. Anyway, so that flat earther is dead, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. So did you say how he died?
Jesus, yeah. He in his rocket attempt, he
Oh.
died. He blew
That
up.
is how he died.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he died from embarrassment or something on return. Return to entry.
Nope. That's not
Why
what
a
happened.
rocket?
It was pretty sad. His idea was, well, you know how flat earthers say when you go into a plane, it's all forced perspective because of the round windows, making you think you see the curve. His idea, and what a lot of flat earthers believe, is that we've never actually been that high. So he was going to take a rocket to, make history and be high enough to see how flat the earth was.
Right, but you could get that high, I imagine, in safer ways than a rocket. I mean, even building his own plane would probably be easier, or get on a hot
easier
air
than
balloon.
that. Even easier than that. He could get a fucking drone and just fly it up to the atmosphere with a
you
camera
have to keep
on
in
it.
mind the mentality of some of these people. They probably think all of that is like government conspiracy where it like gives a green screen curve to the earth when you're high enough.
Wait, wouldn't the rocket still have the same forced perspective on it with the windows?
Well, no, because he made those windows, so it's different.
Yeah.
You probably didn't even fucking put windows on it.
Yeah, it's probably just
What
a
I
fucking
saw from his
ejector
rocket,
seat.
no, I look. There's a video of his rocket takeoff. It actually looks like he just took off in a septic tank.
So did it just explode in the air?
So what happened is it immediately went wrong. His other two attempts also failed, but this one was spectacular. It immediately launched and deployed the parachute. So then,
So how
when
did he die?
well, on impact, Jackson, there was nothing to stop his hurtling back towards Earth.
I thought you said there was a parachute that went off immediately.
Yeah, it blew off. Like it took off and the parachute got shit out.
So that they immediately knew he was fucked at that point.
There was nothing
why-
anyone could do.
Why would you not at
Totally
least
dead.
why not at least do this over a body of water like a lake? Did he just do this in his
Hitting
backyard?
water would still kill you.
Oh wow.
It depends on how high it was, but yeah, still better odds
He
than
he didn't even go that high. He like just fucking nosedived
Yeah.
straight over.
Yeah. It was it was honestly what your
recorded?
body would look like getting shot out of a cannon, Andrew. That's what
yeah,
it looked like.
He only went about 100 feet in the air.
Yeah, it's recorded. Oh, not the impact. I haven't seen the impact. Just what happens.
I just watched the impact. It's like a Wile E. Coyote cartoon. It's just a puff of smoke where he lands.
So how long ago did he die? Man.
Today.
Build
12 hours ago.
rocket.
Yeah. Do you think that
Oh.
thankfully he was at peace because maybe for a brief second as he was at the top of his arc he saw that the earth from his perspective was indeed flat?
He didn't
hope
even go
so.
up like 20 meters or whatever. He
Exactly.
was
So
just
the
like-
earth would still look flat to him.
Yeah.
So maybe he found his peace. Maybe he thought he hit space, saw the earth, and then went, I finally know, and then died.
Closes his eyes like an anime as it goes up in
like
flames.
the Iron Giant flying into the nuke.
that's fucking sad. I just saw the video too. I
someone
recommend
post it
people
in the
look this
chat?
up. It's I'll post it.
It is sad, but at the same time, it's someone's, I guess, stupidity taking their
He
own life.
died doing what he
one forced
loved.
him. Yeah, no one forced him to do it.
He went off
Yeah.
like fucking Wile E. Coyote though. It's amazing.
I mean, it's always sad when someone dies, but at the same time, maybe not strap yourself into a homemade rocket and throw yourself into the air.
God
I
gave him
disagree.
so many chances because he blew it twice in a row. In 2017 and 2018, he had other failures, and he still kept going.
No, I disagree. I think they should all do this. Every person who's like a major conspiracy theorist, they should put their money where their mouth is, man. Right? Just build a rocket, prove to us that the Earth is flat. You have to build the rocket yourself. You cannot buy any parts. If you're an anti-vaxxer, inject yourself with some virus. See if the vaccine didn't help.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, anti-vaxxers should just get polio and see what happens.
No, just send them to Wuhan, right? For a month, little stay. Get the virus.
It goes up. The rocket goes up so fast. It's so bad. I'm just imagining him they're getting like barreled around, knocking over everything.
Well, the G-forces in that rocket must have been enough to kill him, I'd imagine, because it's like a rail
it definitely
gun.
knock him out. I would assume.
His launch apparatus was like an actual rail gun or like a slingshot. It wasn't like a real rocket.
God, what a fucking idiot!
Oh, what a super dumbass! It was a fucking steam rocket. You guys remember steam engines? How efficient that is? Yeah, that'll take you to space.
I think
God,
actually
he
he
wanted
was
to go
high
to
enough
space.
to see above the clouds because it looks like he's falling through the clouds there.
Oh, he absolutely did not break the cloud barrier. Not even close. Not even close.
Fucking awesome. I
He
wonder
went
how
about
he
as
felt.
high as one of those. He went about as high as one of those slingshot carnival rides you see at the fair.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. Probably right in that ballpark.
Yeah, so he could have just gone to a fucking fun fair and done the same thing.
Yeah, but it looks like he really went far too. It's just the way it takes off with the smoke coming out of his ass. It's like, you know, when you're playing Mario and you step into a fire, his ass burns as he shoots up. I really hope he was conscious. That must be great, the last couple of seconds of, oh shit, this wasn't worth it, and then splat.
It played the last few notes of his theme song right as he hit the ground.
I bet all the way up until the end, he was still deep in that conspiracy. Like, shit, NASA must have sabotaged my steam. We've lost control. Where's my parachute?
Yeah, so
There's
that's
no way
what
he
I'm
knew
thinking.
he lost his parachute.
I bet if you go on those flat earth retard forums, which they probably don't call it that, but I bet you they all currently think, CIA did this.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
I think they're
I
right.
have
I
no
think
doubt in
you
my
should
mind.
disprove them. If any flat earther is listening, here's my challenge: the Kaya rocket challenge. Build a rocket and blow yourself up. You can do it. That is awesome.
Yeah, I don't particularly feel sorry for the individual, but for the families and such. That's where it's sad, I guess. He's probably got kids or something.
Well, their problems began long before he died, Jackson. I mean, he was a pretty adamant flat
he
earther.
took out a third mortgage to build this rocket.
Oh, God, did he really?
Crowdfunded, actually. I'm pretty sure he crowdfunded this, so that means they actually paid to kill this man.
Do you think
That's
they're all liable
awesome.
for murder now?
Fuck. Now I wish I was part of that. Like, write the patrons' names on just have it engraved on the fucking metal plates of the rocket or something.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
They should inscribe this man's names on the walls of NASA, up there with the astronauts that have also died. At least give him that.
Pioneers.
Actually, that'd be the greatest fuck you to him to put him in NASA.
Yeah. Put him on the same wall where they celebrated the chimpanzees that went to space.
So who else
says-
died?
Yeah, who else?
Who else died? Kaya?
The
You
guy
said
who
there was a
invented
bunch.
copy and paste died, apparently.
Oh
Oh fuck!
Which is pretty sad since,
Man.
literally all of us used this. His name was Larry Tesler. He worked at Xerox. There's really not much interesting stuff here. It's all nerd history. But point is, he invented copy and paste, and unfortunately, he passed last
sad.
Monday, it seems.
That's really sad.
I mean, as far as legacy goes, that's a pretty long-reaching and significant legacy, I would say. Copy paste. Everyone knows it. Everyone uses it.
You're reminded of him almost every time you right click.
But you'll never remember his name.
Imagine if it always
You
said
will
just
now.
copy, brought to you by Larry Tesler, paste, brought to you by Larry Tesler on every right-click menu.
In
That would
parentheses,
suck.
there was a little
Yeah.
trademark symbol with Larry Tesler's name on it and logo.
Every time you control V, it's just got that after it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I hate that when
This
websites
message
do
was
that.
copied by.
When they do that sneaky shit, when you copy a piece of text from a website or something, and then when you go to paste it, you don't really check, but they find a way to include their URL in it at the end, some credit. Does it happen to you guys? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. There's some news sites that do that. It's super shady.
I can't
Yeah.
even go on news sites anymore. That is such a clusterfuck of ads and begging to turn off ad block. It's fucking miserable.
Yeah.
That, the fucking autoplay video. God, I'm gonna be so glad once
Oh.
this. I mean, no offense,
Oh,
but
God,
the boomer
that's the
generation,
worst
once
part.
they're gone, there will be no excuses left to keep the autoplay videos. I assume that's who those videos are for, right? To make it look like,
Yeah.
hey, this is
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
the TV, you know. You go on the website and a video plays. Stop it.
So I don't mind the autoplay video that much, but it's the fact that it's 9 volumes higher than what your computer volume's set to. So it's just loud and startling, and you have to scramble across the page to find how to turn it off. It's the fucking worst.
Yeah, it's fucking disgusting. Anyway, thank you, Larry Tesler. So we had Larry Tesler, Jens Nygard Knudsen, the Lego guy, and what was the Daredevil's name? Flat Earther?
Mad Mike Hughes, baby.
So he was a stuntman?
No.
He
was
had
not
one
evil.
stunt.
I thought you said he was a stuntman.
No, they call him a
That
Daredevil.
name, Mad Mike, sounds like a yeah.
I'm pretty
stunt
sure
devil.
he gave himself the name, but he was a self-proclaimed daredevil.
Well, to
I
be
actually
fair,
don't think he
was.
had any background. I don't think he had any. I'm gonna look him up real quick since we're still talking about him. I don't think he had a background in science. Well, obviously, considering he's a flat
Yeah,
earther. But I think he had like actually nothing to do with anything rocket related. He probably just watched that old Matthew McConaughey movie where they build the rocket in the backyard.
I think he just watched The
Interstellar?
Martian or something and figured, hey, I could do that.
Nah, which one are you talking about, Charlie? What movie?
The Astronaut Farmer. You don't remember that?
I do remember that now. I couldn't remember the name. Never watched that one. But you said Matthew McConaughey and Rocket in the backyard, and I immediately thought of Interstellar.
Yeah.
Pretty similar
Farmer.
movies.
Astronaut
was gonna
Farmer was not very good.
Interstellar was.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Until the end.
What if Hugh now starts talking to us using gravity? Murph, don't let me build the fucking rocket, Murph.
The LEDs on my monitor start spelling out flat Earth. Oh, what could this mean?
The truth. So, I mean, this is sad, but also kind of cute. He went out in quite the blaze of glory with a lot of dreams fulfilled and definitely his pants filled as well. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Mike Hughes' family and friends during this difficult time. It was always his dream to do this launch, and Science Channel was there to chronicle his journey.
Oh boy.
They didn't tell him to stop or anything.
Yeah, Science Channel should be just like conspirators to the murder.
Did anyone check and like verify the rocket?
Jesus Christ. So this was apparently part of Science Channel's series called Homemade Astronauts. This seems like Kaya's plan to get people to kill themselves.
That's awesome. What if they take out his phone from the debris and check his messages, and it's that fucking bitch egging him on to kill himself? Like, you can do it. Get back on the rocket. You know, just telling him to kill himself.
Oh, the girl from the text messages thing? Yeah.
Yeah. But it's someone from the Science Channel. You can do it, Hughes. This'll totally disprove the globe earthers.
What a remarkably dangerous and irresponsible series for the Science Channel to launch. Homemade Astronauts. Jesus Christ.
That's the state of reality TV, though.
Yeah,
But
I
it
mean,
has
is it
been that
any
way
more
for, like,
different than them
forever.
following around morbidly obese people, shoving a camera in their faces as they're literally killing themselves with chips? Not
I
really.
guess, yeah.
That's a really good point.
That's a good way of looking at it.
You find a loon bag and you capitalize off of them. Fuck it, we should do it.
So why did so this footage was clearly filmed by the Science Channel. Why did they even release it? It's really embarrassing.
What do you mean? Why? I mean, it's funny.
They could have just shared it with
The victims' families.
yeah, like they don't need to like show the whole world. It honestly just looks like a hit piece at this point from the Science Channel.
I wonder if this is like
He wanted it shared.
if this is the flat earthers Kobe moment, right? He just died in a fucking aerial accident. They all put down their fucking flat earth jerseys on his grave.
God damn.
So was he
real
one of
martyr.
the heroes in the community, or was he considered to be an outlier?
Oh, he'd probably definitely be a hero.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think he was probably well respected in his community. I would wager a guess.
I think what you said earlier is going to be spot on with it, Kaya. People are going to say the government took him out because he was too smart. They sabotaged the rocket. He was getting too close. So I think that definitely make him like a martyr and a big figure in the
They'll
community.
photo analyze the video and see two F-16 jets flying in the background.
Aliens and reptilians. Yeah. He's got his family or like the
Chemtrails.
people close to him really give him a cool send-off. Hughes Representative Darren Shuster described him as one of a kind. He told TMZ, "When God made Mike, he broke the mold. The man was the real deal and lived to push the edge. He wouldn't have gone out any other way."
I respect that.
So do you think
What
his
a hero.
children are going to like try to step into his boots, keep his
No, I don't
legacy
think so.
alive?
I think his kids are in like their 20s and 30s already, man. He was 64 years old. I can't even see anything
He
about
was
his kids.
64?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
That's Mad Mike
Jesus.
for you.
Well, then, yeah, he's lived a full life. He deserves to go out that way. That's probably what he wanted. He probably sabotaged his own fucking chances.
Yeah, what,
Oh,
what if
wow.
he was secretly saying, what if he was secretly like, I don't want to do this anymore. I know the earth is round. How do I get out of this? He just starts sabotaging his own rocket to end it.
He built a teleporter in the rocket.
He's chilling in space right now with some aliens. He was actually a super genius.
okay. I'm going to. This is
Yeah,
just a visual.
people
but
were
I-
expecting to open up his rocket and find no body or whatever. It's like vanished, but they actually open. It's just a stew of blood and guts.
It's a big soup of Mike
it's a literal straw man.
with Mike's picture nailed to it.
Mike,
Okay,
come back to us.
We gotta cut this out, but check the chat. This is from their forums. I love this.
No.
That's sad.
For viewers out there, it's a picture from their forum that says "soar high like an eagle," and it's got a picture of an eagle. They seem really very quite sad over Mad Mike's death.
Actually,
we
they're
all
not.
are.
I think
No.
that's a falcon, not an eagle.
Whatever.
I
Shut up.
decided to. Yeah, fucking nerd.
I'm sorry, Mike. I didn't mean to spit on your legacy.
Well, Mike didn't post that. That was just one irresponsible poster.
It actually is from Mike. He set it up to post that automatically.
His dead man switch. If he doesn't get off the rocket, it posts a lot of cool memes about the Earth being flat.
Well, he may have an automated tweet or a Facebook message like, "If you're reading this, I died in the line of duty." But no, I'm currently on. I am on the FlatEarthSociety.org forums, and it sounds like they don't actually like him.
What?
Really?
What? How
Yeah.
could you not
I'm
like
surprised.
They're making fun of him. Says, "This is breaking news, but it seems Mike Hughes has died in an attempt to launch his homemade rocket. Rest in peace, you crazy motherfucker." Second reply, "Let us know if his condition changes." Third reply,
He went from being dead to alive.
first flat earther to receive Darwin Award.
Do you know what the Darwin Awards are?
Yeah.
Please
That
let
makes
us
sense.
know if his condition changes, as if he's suddenly gonna like rewind time. Turns out we made a mistake. All that blood and guts was not Mike.
Second to last reply, rest in peace. How did he crash in a rocket and still end up in one piece? I would have thought he'd be in pieces. Ha, it's a flat earther humor. Yeah, they don't seem to care. I was expecting some sort of a mopey eulogy, but nothing. Sounds like we
I
care
imagine-
more about this.
Yeah, I imagine flat earthers on the whole probably don't like guys that go out of their way to try to prove it, because every single time they've done that, they've proven the earth is round. Like in their own documentary, they prove the earth is round. So they probably just
This guy
like
didn't prove anything.
Well, no, they at the end of that documentary, he genuinely does the experiment and proves the earth is round.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
referring
yeah.
to. So I imagine they probably just like the armchair flat earthers who just theorize, what if? If only the government would let us.
Yeah, I think they probably sit there thinking, hey, he's bad representation for our movement. He did that experiment wrong, something. Oh, now they're going to be even more, we're going to get even more ridiculed and oppressed. And yeah, I'd be interested in talking
is
to
a
one of
shame.
those guys.
Yeah, we should have a flat earther on. We should, genuinely.
We really should, Kaya. You're always well connected to these kind of very fringe groups. Can you get us in touch?
I mean, sad thing is, probably could. They have their podcast.
It's not sad. We should have got fucking Mad Mike on before he's launched. We should have had a pre-launch interview.
Can you imagine?
That would have been awesome.
I mean, it probably would have been sadder knowing the guy.
Yeah, then I'd feel a lot more attached.
Yeah.
He's
He
probably
probably
real.
was a super nice guy.
I was just about to say, he's probably like a super wholesome guy, just dreadfully misled.
No, you don't know that. It could have been an
Lies
extremely unpleasant. Oh, you fucking retards! You're all fucking round globe Earth. I'm gonna show you guys. And by the end of it, we would have been like, okay, go ahead, strap
Yeah, but
yourself
giving
in.
him the benefit of the doubt does no damage here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, all of his friends and such have said that he's a nice guy.
Well, his friends give him like this cool badass speech, like when God made him, God was afraid of him, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, his friends are presumably flat earthers too, so take that with a grain of salt.
Well, wow, this has been a sad episode. We've just been talking about death the entire time.
I have happy news.
I think it's been more of
also about death.
It's been a
but-
celebration.
Oh yeah, it's a celebration of life as opposed to a mourning of death.
Now you're getting it.
Yeah. So, all right, my favorite news of the day. So you guys know I love the Alaskan Avenger. My boy up in Alaska, who, for those who don't know, this is a real guy. You can look up the Alaskan Avenger. This is an inmate who broke out of prison and decided to trawl the sex offender registry for victims to bash their skulls in. We finally got another
He
one.
beat the victims. He beat the victims of sex abuse skulls in.
No, he beat the sex
They weren't
offenders.
suffering enough.
He doesn't like snitches.
He broke into the homes of sex offenders and steal from them and smash their heads in. So he's a little hero to me. He's my favorite Marvel character. And he finally got a brother, you guys. His name is, let's see, what the fuck is the guy's name? Jonathan Watson. So the headline is California prisoner confesses to killing 2 incarcerated child molesters. And this is great because a California prison inmate confessed in a letter that he beat 2 child molesters to death with a cane while behind bars just hours after his urgent warning to a counselor that he might become violent was ignored. Jonathan Watson confessed in a letter. So the funny part here is that he warned these people multiple times. So the victims were David Bob, 48, died that day. Graham de Lewis Conti, 62, died 3 days later at the hospital. Both were serving life sentences for aggravated sexual assault of a child under 14. The worst of the worst.
Ooh. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So days before the attack,
Where did he get
said,
a cane though?
Yeah, I think they're allowed to have canes if they're like super old or something. So I would assume just
Yeah,
grabbed
probably.
one of them.
So wait, so did one of the pedophiles had the cane, or was it him?
Maybe. No, Watson
I'm pretty
is
sure
just
it was his cane.
Well, no, Watson's like 41 or something. Yeah, he's not old enough to have a cane. But says, days before the attack, he said his security classification was changed and he was transferred from a single-person cell to a lower security dormitory pod at the Central Valley facility. Watson called the switch a careless mistake and he said he had protested the decision. Watson wrote that 6 days after he arrived at the prison, a child molester moved into the pod. Watson believed the man began taunting other inmates by watching children's television programming. Watson
That's
said,
fucked up.
Jesus.
Watson
What a
said
piece of shit.
Watson said in the letter he couldn't sleep that night, quote, having not done what every instinct told me I should have done right then and there, hero. Based. 2 hours before the attack the next day, Watson told a prison counselor that he urgently needed to be transferred back to higher level security, quote, before I really fuck one of these dudes up. But the counselor, quote, scoffed and dismissed him. Watson said he returned to his housing pod. Okay, so this is his quote here. I was mulling it all over when along came molester number 1, and he put his TV right on PBS Kids again. But this time someone else said something to the effect of, is this guy really going to watch this right in front of us? And I recall saying, I got this. And I picked up the cane and went to work on him. Watson said he then left the housing pod to find a guard and turn himself in. But on the way he saw quote, a known child trafficker. And I figured I'd just do everybody a favor. In for a penny, in for a pound. I love this guy.
Wow.
What a guy.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Fuck. This
So
is
what
awesome.
was this guy what was he in the slammer for in the first place?
Murder.
Ah,
So he had practice. Good. I wanted to make
As
sure
you
he
can
did it
tell,
right.
he doesn't seem to have a problem with taking lives. At the end, he says, being a lifer, I'm in a unique position where I sometimes have access to these people and I have so little to lose. And trust me, we get it. These people are every parent's worst nightmare. What a great guy.
Wow.
well, I mean, I don't know about great guy, but at least he's doing a decent service, kind of.
Repenting.
Yeah, we don't
Especially
know
if
about
they're in
his
there for life.
murder conviction. That could have also been someone who deserved it.
I guess.
Yeah, he's my hero. So here's to the Alaskan Avenger and now the California Avenger.
So he was from California.
Mm-hmm.
Can't you get... I thought America had the death penalty. What if he killed too many people?
Well, the death
Depends.
penalty
It's
takes
the
like
death penalty.
60 years.
Not
Yeah.
only does it take forever, but it also depends on the state. Not every state enforces the death penalty.
Yeah, the death penalty is kind of just like another life sentence.
Yeah, also, you can sit on death row, like, expecting the death penalty and just be there for literal years. It's not very efficient.
Yeah. Efficient.
Why do they do that again? Is it that they make money off each prisoner, right? So they just keep them there as long as possible?
Yeah, prisons are
No.
a business.
Well, prisons
There's
are
I imagine they
business,
don't make
but
money off the ones on death row.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
no, the
I'm
death
pretty
row
sure they
thing is
do.
that you really don't want to execute someone and then find out that via new evidence
They're
he was
innocent.
actually
Ah,
innocent.
right.
So
Yeah.
they get practically an infinite amount of what do you call it when you
Proof and
contest?
evidence.
No,
Witnesses.
no, when you contest the result of a court ruling. What's it called again?
Appeal?
Yeah, appeal. So basically, they can just keep appealing and appealing their cases, and it gets kicked around the system. And you know how bureaucracy in the government works. So there was this one guy, remember, who spent 23 years on death row, and they released him afterwards.
Yep. Yeah.
He's a speaker now. He has a documentary actually on Netflix.
Do you know
I
what
forget
it's
what it's
called? I'm
called.
trying to remember if I've watched that.
No, it's a number. It was like the number 13 or the number 23 or something. I'm really blanking on his name. He's been on Rogan too.
Yep. Nick Yaris. It's Fear
Yeah.
of 13.
Fear of 13,
I
right?
think that's all of it. That's a fantastic documentary. It's still on Netflix. I highly recommend anyone who's interested in that kind of shit watch it. It's very, very good and interesting.
So what is the fear of 13? Like, what's the number?
Oh, fuck. I'm trying to remember
What's the
what
significance
it
of
means.
13?
So when you spell it, it has a name, something phobia, and that's apparently one of the first words that he taught himself in prison just for fun because he was just so bored. So
Yeah,
all he
that's
did for his pastime in prison was read books and teach himself new words, and I think that was one of his favorites.
Yeah, it's a very great documentary. The way that he tells the story is very interesting, but I'm guessing if you're on death row for 23 years, you have a lot of time to practice it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I highly recommend it. I've watched that one. Charlie, that was the one I was watching at your house, and you were like, "What the fuck are you watching?" Do you remember that?
You watched a couple things. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was when you had moved in recently, and I was watching it in your little like movie room area, and you came in like 3 times, and you're like, "What are you watching?"
I think Charlie was just
Always the
checking in
same
with you
movie.
to make sure you weren't watching porn in his house.
Is that Judy
he
Hopps
wanted
again,
to-
Andrew?
He wanted to break in the TV.
Keep the door open, all right, champ? All right, so I think that's all the heroes we have for today. A toast
Yeah, I
to
can't
all
think of
them.
anything. I can't think of anyone else.
Me neither. So, what do you guys want to talk about? What's this shit I keep hearing about Persona? Is there anything funny about it you guys want to tell me?
The only thing I know about it is they took out some lines. I don't really know too much the whole thing, but I think they just took out some of the shit that was deemed problematic. I did have a topic for us though, if we want to stay on the heroes doing what they love.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember a long time ago the glass salesman that threw himself at the glass to prove how tough it was and he fell to his death because it popped
Yeah.
out?
Yep.
No.
Think about that guy a lot.
I don't.
No?
No.
Yeah, no, what's that?
I think it was in like the 70s.
So it wasn't a glass salesman though; it was a lawyer, and he had a high-profile office, and he wanted to show how like nice the glass in it was.
No, you're absolutely wrong. The guy was actually selling that glass. So he was selling like this indestructible glass that was supposed to be, you know, foolproof. You could never break it. You couldn't shoot it with a fucking cannon and blow it up. So he installed it in like the top floor of this big building. And then he gathered everyone there to show how much he believed in it and how safe it was. So he ran at it, jumped at it, threw himself on it, and it popped out of the socket. And then he just plummeted to his death.
So
Why does
Charlie,
he keep doing that?
Charlie, I just googled it. It's Gary Hoy, and he was a lawyer for the law firm of Holden Day Wilson.
Really?
And he was trying to show a bunch of prospective students that being a lawyer was great, and that one of the perks was look at these glass windows; they're unbreakable. So he did it as a joke and died.
Why would you do that even if there was like the slight chance of it going wrong and you falling to your death?
I think he neglected the fact that maybe the hinges weren't very indestructible if it just popped out of the place.
No, but still, even if you were testing something like that, or
Oh, yeah, it's fucking retarded.
trying to prove it.
It's insane. It's like
should
taking a
never
gun to
do
your
it with
head, playing Russian roulette.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a good chance you're not going to die,
Look,
but
this gun doesn't do anything. It's not loaded. Look, like why would you even take that chance?
you're right. That is so stupid.
Can you
man.
imagine if it went well though? How cool it would have been to hit the glass and bounce off. What a huge payoff.
it's kind of just cool. That's like a power move. He just jumped out a window with a smile on his face.
You think he could have done anything like smarter, like thrown a stapler at it or something? Not his whole body.
Right.
Imagine him calling someone and he's like, hey, look what I could do. He just jumps out the window.
Do you think he's done it multiple times before without any problems in private, like practiced it to show off to the interns?
Maybe he's just warming up.
Warming up his shoulder, and then the one time there was an audience, he just fucking dies. This is great. We should all, for the next episode, if you don't have a guest, all four of us should do some research and just find our favorite Darwin Award winners. Just the stupidest deaths.
Hold our own Darwin Awards, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to be responsible for that.
No, I mean like finding other people who have died in the same way.
I thought you meant hold a contest to see who of our audience can die in the funniest way.
Well, no.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to run that show.
Let's make that the new
No, I mean,
TikTok
we
challenge
each bring a
for all the
contestant.
kids. Is listen to the official podcast while crossing a highway blindfolded.
The glass guy is probably my favorite, though. I don't know if I'll find anyone better. I just think that's fucking crazy. I thought he was selling the windows, which made it better, but even still, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I have a soft spot in my heart for the people who they like buy RVs or large cars and they set it to cruise control thinking it'll drive the car for them, and then they just go in the back and it plummets off the side of the highway.
How many
That's
of
always
those
one of my
exist?
favorites.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
There's been like 3 or 4 cases of people, they buy like RVs or home vehicles, just those giant trucks, and then they put it on cruise control and go into the kitchen and make a sandwich or something, and then it flies off the highway and kills them. There's been a couple.
Idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Have
that
you guys ever
suggestion,
done
man.
something like that? Just like
No,
hurt
like
yourself?
Killed ourselves.
No. Just something like you did. Just something so fucking stupid that you injured yourself doing. But, it's really silly. Like, you
I'd
think back on
say-
it, it's like, how could you possibly have made that mistake?
I've probably done a bunch, but I got to think about it.
The one that
don't
comes to
think
mind,
so.
and kind of why I resonate with the glass guy so hard, is when I was a kid, I was playing like indoor football, and this was when NFL Street was big. And in NFL Street, you can like wall plant off of walls and do like a big jump off of it. So I did that on my family's glass door and I ended up going straight through it and eviscerating my leg.
Oh, God.
Pretty impressive.
I just charged at it full strong and tried to do that jump.
It just didn't work.
Yeah, no, it just gave way.
There
As
was
glass is
one.
known to do.
Wow.
There was one time when I was young, I rode down pretty much like a, what do you call it, like a vertically steep, like it was just like straight down kind of hill. I thought I'd be able to make it, but as soon as I hopped on the bike and started trekking down, I completely ate shit and fell off and like scraped my whole face up against the concrete and pavement. Which
Yeah.
that's fine. That's just a misjudge on my part of how steep the hill really was. But so I told my brother, "Hey, don't." He's like 2 years younger than me. I was like, "Hey, don't ride that hill. It's much steeper and much faster than what you would think." Next day, he does it and eats shit as well and breaks his arm. So the real Darwin Award goes to him there. He had categorical proof that it just wasn't safe. He still did it.
It's cute though.
Yeah, it was cute.
Either of you two boys, Andrew, Kaya.
No, unfortunately, I don't remember any.
I don't remember if I've told it on the podcast before. Did I tell the story where there was a chain across the gate and the fence, and I decided to try to like hop over it on my bike while going to school?
No,
I feel like I told
don't
it a long time ago. All right, so even if I did, it was probably like episode 20 or something, so I'll just retell it. I used to bike to school in elementary school every day with a group of friends, and we would ride through a park to get there because it was literally on the way, just like a big open park with fucking, I don't know, basketball courts and all that shit. And there was a gap in the fence that separated the park from my school, my elementary school. And every day we would just ride through that gap and then cross the street and go to the school. But one day, as I was going down the kind of little hill that led to that gap, someone put a fucking chain link across it. I don't know why. I think maybe to kind of complete the fence. And both of my friends saw that and they stopped and they started to go around. But I don't know, I wasn't thinking about it or paying attention. So I went, I know, I'll just ride my bike and then hop the front wheel over and I'll just go over the chain. It's fine. I did no such hopping, and my front wheel hit that chain, and I fucking front flipped off my bike onto the sidewalk. Like, it was like a fucking comedy movie where they put the little spring trap in front of the guy's motorcycle, and he just front flips in the air. And
That's not so much your fault.
It was just the fact that I was going down the hill, and I didn't think to stop because I thought I could just go over the chain, but I couldn't. And apparently my fall was so violent that some woman stopped her car in the middle of the road and got out to ask if I was okay.
Did you land on your feet like a man?
Oh, fuck no. I landed on, like, not my face, but the side of my shoulder and that, like, whole front part of my torso.
Nice. So you ragdolled it?
Yeah, I ragdolled and crumpled real good. It apparently looked really bad, but I was fine. I just had a couple scrapes. That was about it.
God, I miss when things like that wouldn't kill you. Like, if that happened to us now, all four of us, I imagine, would probably die from it. But I remember, like, as a kid, I used to, like, purposely tumble downstairs because it was fast and I thought it was cool.
Yeah. My friend, I had a friend who had stairs, and we had a game of just what stupid shit could we fall down the stairs with.
Exactly.
All the time. I miss
That's why it's
that
always.
shit.
Yeah, you really can't do that now.
That's why it looks adorable when when a little kitten falls down one flight of stairs or something, because it's not really hurt. It's basically made out of fucking cartilage, the whole thing. It's tiny and in terms of body mass and gravity, it's not hurt at all. So it kind of looks adorable. Do that with a grown man and fuck, you're dead.
Yeah. Kids are fucking resilient, man. You could have kids just walking and playing and they'll just land on their face from like 10 feet high and they'll get up and start playing again.
It's crazy, man, to think back on that. Like, I can't even imagine. I can't even think about that.
What's the most cartoonish like injury you can think of? Because I can think of one that I saw, which was, again, my brother, when he was like 10 or so. He attracted all kinds of danger. He was walking one of our dogs, and then the dog saw another dog and started charging off, but it was on a leash. so he just face planted. His face went straight in the dirt, and then the dumbass continues to hold on to the leash.
Yeah, I've been there, actually.
And he just ate shit all along the side of the street. He held on forever. He just did not give up. It was so funny.
The dog
I've been
meat
there.
crayoned him.
What's that?
Meat crayon. Where they
Meat
like slide
crayon.
against the pavement.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's basically what it was. He was just like, his face was full of dirt when he got up. It was just like all scratches and concrete.
Yep.
He was like riding along that for like a good solid minute, probably.
That same exact
I
thing
don't know why you
happened-
wouldn't just let go.
That same exact thing happened to me, Jackson. When I was about 5 or 6 or 7, we had a Doberman, and she was like full grown. And I went out to take her for a walk, but our neighbors had their dog outside. So as soon as I rounded the corner of our house, like our dog just went nuts at other dogs. So she started bolting towards that fence. And it was fall, and there was a bunch of leaves on the ground. And I just, for some reason, did not let go of the leash in my childhood body. So I got dragged all the way to the fence.
Yeah, it's crazy. You would think that you would just immediately let go of the leash, but I guess that's a sign of what you would actually do in danger or whatever. When you just can't think, you just don't think to let go. And I think that's probably what would still happen to us if we were in that situation.
Well, part of my childhood brain was like, I have a Doberman. I can't let this monster loose in the neighborhood. I've got to hold on so I can have some control over the dog.
think that's
I don't think I'd even be
control over
thinking
me.
about that in that situation. I think I wouldn't. My brain would just be completely fried. I wouldn't be thinking. I'd just be like, "What the fuck's going on? Why is my face full of dirt all of a sudden?"
I mean, the responsibility is with, the parents there at that point. The same thing happened to me. We had a husky, and the fucker dragged me a couple meters, and then he just ran off when I finally let go, and he just spent the whole day in the forest, completely careless, doesn't even give a shit that the owners were looking for him, and then came home in the evening to eat. But why would you entrust like a fucking 6-year-old with a gigantic dog? It's like holding a leash with a train on the other end.
It's the most frustrating shit, man. That same Doberman I was talking about, she thought it was a game. So anytime she got out of the house, she would bolt, and if you ever got closer to her, she'd just run even further. She loved
That's
it.
a love dog.
That's what
she was
does.
Cute.
She was running in the fucking street. It's not cute.
No.
She get hit by a fucking car or maul a child.
I hate that. Tetra
It's
does that
terrible.
same thing.
Yeah. I can't stand that feeling when that shit happens.
They
Yeah.
just want to play, though. It's not like they
Yeah.
understand.
Well, thankfully, most people are nice. One time she got like super far away from us and we couldn't even find her. And then some dude picked her up in his truck and brought her over to the house. But it's never comfortable when your dog's just going ape shit in the street. You think they're going to get hit by a car or, I don't know, attack some kid or something. Mm-hmm. It's terrible.
I can't really think of any cartoonish injuries or falls I've had.
You're the only one who hasn't popped up on something, yeah?
Well, that's not true. I told the glass one, but for like cartoonish injuries, I can't really think of anything.
That's what I meant. You're the only one who didn't have one. You've never been dragged by a dog? You don't want to join the club?
No, I only ever grew up with small dogs.
Nah. So again, same question.
I got my eye bit by a dog when I was a kid.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
fun.
What, like I imagine not your eyeball.
No,
just
my
like the
eyeball. I had to wear an eye
Oh.
patch.
How long?
Really?
But how did it bite you? How did it bite your eye?
I don't know. I went
How did
down
we
to
get in there?
I went down to pet him, and I just put my face like right up on his nose, and then he just like chomped.
Ooh.
It wasn't like an aggressive bite. It was just like one of those little tiny open mouth snips, but he just got my whole eyeball.
That's a cartoonish injury.
Yeah, that is pretty cartoonish that he aims specifically for the eyeball and just rips it out.
He just yanks it out of the socket.
How much damage did that do?
Not much. It was fine after like a couple days.
The eye is pretty resilient, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
you can pierce that motherfucker and it
You
doesn't really
can-
do all too much damage.
Your eyeball
well.
can pop out of its socket and you can just put it back in with no problem.
Okay, you guys are spreading some misinformation. You can pierce it, but under surgical conditions. You can't just stick a needle in there yourself.
Well, I think you could realistically if you just like pierce the little gooey bit at the front. I don't think it would do too much damage. I think it's meant to repair itself. But if you stab yourself, then it's going to pierce the actual
Well, yeah,
the
people
other
can
side of it, the stem.
people can scratch their cornea and then just kind of cover it up for a while and then it heals.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but still.
I don't know,
wouldn't
Jackson.
recommend
Jab
it.
a needle in your eye and tell me what happens.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
give it a shot tonight. I'll see what happens.
It's like those
if
idiots who
I
get.
don't blind myself, I might be able to find my way over to Discord to tell you guys how it went.
I'll never get those. It's similar to the guy jumping out of the window, really trying to tackle it. Is in the similar vein. People who get eyeball tattoos. Why the fuck would you ever risk that?
Oh yeah.
Ever.
What's an
Oh,
eyeball
God.
tattoo?
You're
think I've ever
so.
seen it.
You've never seen people get their eyeballs tattooed? It's disgusting.
No, I don't think so.
It looks incredibly stupid and it's incredibly dangerous. And just how starved for attention are you that you would risk going blind? And some of them do.
People love being unique in that aspect.
Oh, it's
It's
so
not
frustrating.
unique.
Yeah.
It's not fucking.
Well, no, but
Stupidity isn't
they
unique.
feel unique. They have to find
Yeah.
the most unique body modification to do
Wow.
to make themselves feel unique.
Every single search result you find for tattoos is articles on why it's dangerous and what the health risks are. Mm-hmm. Holy shit.
Those health
Yep.
risks mean nothing when they can get a few extra likes on their Twitter posts.
Yeah, I mean, it'll show your dad what's what, you know? He'll really hate you now, and that's really the point of it, I think. Just to say, fuck you, mom and dad, this is not a phase. Idiots.
No, I think it's more about society. Like they want to say something to society. That
They
they're
could just wear
different and unique and
contacts, though.
individual.
Like they really
But
could.
that's not unique enough.
Exactly.
Well, they can't
That's the
wear
thing.
contacts. I don't think there's whole eyeball contacts for the white parts, is
Yeah,
there?
there is.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's colored contacts.
No, I'm not
Yeah,
talking
I can
about
get a
colored
fucking
contacts.
Sharingan.
The colored contacts they're for your pupils. The colored part. These guys, they get tattoos on the white parts of their eyes.
Yeah,
Most
there's contacts that do that too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then they're
That's
extra
good.
stupid.
Yeah, that's a really common Halloween costume shit.
Yeah, it's part of theater and shit.
Oh.
It just looks dumb. I don't know if I'm a boomer,
As
but
for
it just
if
looks
you
dumb.
can change your iris with contact, well, yeah, you can, can't you?
Yeah, the iris, the whatever it's called, the colored part, but
Yeah.
it looks so fucking stupid.
Yeah, fucking
Idiots.
Kane. The wrestler Kane wore colored contact for one of his eyes, remember? He had that big white piercing eye. That was his thing for a while.
I don't recall, but I do love Kane.
Yeah, he had that one eye that was like big and white, and it was a colored contact that he wore.
I just don't get why you want to make yourself look like a children's coloring book or something. Just like with all these random body modifications and colors over your face and stuff. Maybe I am a boomer or conservative in that regard.
It's
I
not
don't know, it just
conservative.
looks
It's
goofy.
just. Yeah, it is goofy, but to them it's cool. They're being so, such rebels. They just want to rebel against something. I guess in this case, something is looking sane.
Yeah.
It's not even like,
People
I don't know what they
do-
think. Where like, I wonder if they think everyone else is intimidated by them, or they think they're cool, or they're scared. Like, oh, look at these peasants checking us out. They don't get how amazing, and they probably think I'm a demon or something. No, we think you're a fucking idiot. we think
Honestly,
you're a
I
little
would probably be
child.
pretty intimidated.
Huh?
I'd be pretty intimidated. I wouldn't want to, I don't know, like converse or have conversation with someone with colorful eyes or whatever.
Well, then you're an asshole, then, Jackson.
Well, maybe.
That's not intimidation.
People
Just when you
go-
look at them, isn't all you see is like a little girl who just found her mom's makeup drawer and just went to town. Right? It's
I'm all
fucking
for
goofy.
people modifying how they want to modify, but it's really silly to do it just for the sake of unique identity or standing out in
Yeah.
a crowd. I think that's really kind of pathetic. If it has special meaning to you in some way, sure.
What kind of
Yeah.
special meaning would that have, though?
Well,
They've always
special
wanted to be
meaning from it.
blind.
yeah, I really don't know about the coloring eyeballs.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be blind.
It's just people who go to drastic lengths for attention. The amount of things people will do just to get attention from everyone is,
The amount of
just
things
do that
people will
shit.
do just to, in their minds, stand out and be cool. I don't know if you guys have seen, there's this viral video of a kid getting a cochlear implant, and they turn it on for the first time, and this
Cochlear,
tweet went,
what is
That's ear, right?
what is a
That's ear.
cochlear implant
Yeah, the
again?
ear.
That's-
Ear implant.
Oh, right,
yeah,
right.
and they turn it on, and the kid hears for the first time, and immediately below is just deaf people, deaf spelled big, from the
Yeah,
deaf
yeah.
community saying,
Yeah.
this is not a disease. How dare you? Why do you think every child wants to hear? It's wrong to force hearing on them. We're not disabled. Deaf people can do everything that hearing people can. It's insane.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
stupid.
think you'd be very hard pressed to find people that would said, I'd rather be deaf. I feel like
It's fucked up to the efforts of the people trying to fix this issue as well.
It was an article. The article. Well, I don't know about exactly what you're talking about, Kaya, but what I read was there's a doctor who came up with a really efficient way of curing deafness.
Yeah,
and that
the-
was the issue the entire deaf community had, was calling it a cure, because there's nothing wrong with being deaf.
Right here, I have found the tweet.
It makes your life harder, definitely. So.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a child too. Why would you deprive a child of a sense?
is-
Here, it's Professor Mashudu Chifularo successfully performed the first ever transplant surgery to cure deafness. And one of the replies here: as a member of the deaf community, I'm safe to say that we don't want this surgery to cure deafness. It's not a pity to have this. We have a big deaf history, community, and culture that gets ruined by hearing people. First, make the world
Jesus.
accessible for people with handicap, which is not right now. We aren't less than the abled people. We can do anything we want. Being deaf, blind, whatever handicap you have doesn't mean you can do less. It sucks people feel like we need to fix this.
I mean, you
I
can
really
argue,
fucking hate when people like speak on behalf of entire communities like that. You always know that whatever message that comes after that, like when they say on behalf of all deaf people or whatever, you just know like, oh god.
Yeah, I'm sure that the
person's
vast majority
piece
of
of
deaf
shit.
people would prefer to hear if they could. I mean, you can make
Imagine
whatever.
the people who have been deaf for 60 years before this fucking technological breakthrough. just
especially
waiting on
people
something
who
like this.
who heard at birth and then something happened and now they're deaf. I'm pretty fucking sure they'd want to go back to hearing. You can argue whatever you want about being deaf, like how you've accepted it or made it part of your life or identity, but it's an evolutionary disadvantage. There is no advantage to being deaf. That's all
There's
there is
nothing
to it.
morally wrong with being deaf, and the world should be made easier or more accessible to people who are deaf. But that doesn't mean that advancements in technology shouldn't be like applauded for fixing the issue.
I would assume that
Which
this
it
whole
is an
community,
issue, by the way.
It
Deafness
absolutely
is an issue.
Yeah.
I assume this
not
was
a moral
the
issue.
community started with
That's what they're
some.
implying. It's like a moral dilemma or something. It's not. It's you've been dealt a bad hand.
To them, it is.
Yeah.
You should want to fix it.
It probably started the
You
community
shouldn't have to
as
put any
a
effort into fixing it, but you know what I mean.
sour grape situation where somebody at some point went, you know what, I don't want to hear anyway. I bet hearing sucks anyway. And turned this into their personality, and now they act like some guy curing deafness is like if he cured blackness or something. You know, I was born this way. How dare you? We're just deaf, and this is our kind. How dare you try to eradicate us or something? It's not the same thing. It's a sense. You need it. It's fucking dumb.
Do you
Just
think
like
blind
smelling.
people? Do you think there are blind people who feel the same way, where they're like, "I was born blind. Don't cure my blindness. It's not a disadvantage."
Probably one or two.
Blind.
I've never heard of that, but I'm sure there's some blind community. They don't seem to be as rabid
Would you
as...
prefer? I'd prefer to be deaf over blind.
100%.
Oh, yeah,
I think
yeah.
I was thinking about this morning. Actually, I was going to ask you guys. I think being blind is one of the scariest things I could imagine.
Yeah.
I think if it
Hearing and sight
ahead.
are the worst two. I mean, they're head to head for the worst two senses to lose. Everything else, if I couldn't smell, who gives a shit? If I couldn't taste anymore,
Yeah.
kind of a bummer, but meh. You know, you never have to worry about bad tasting food anymore, right? You could just
Could you
be the
imagine
healthiest
how-
human.
Yeah, I was just about to say, could you imagine how fucking healthy you'd be if you couldn't taste anymore? Just
Oh,
eating nothing but
man.
kale, chicken, turkey, just the healthiest garbage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fucking
actually, that's not a
celery
bad idea.
that
sticks.
sounds excellent.
And, you know, and what is left? Touch. Okay. Also,
Yeah.
okay, I guess touch is a major bummer, but, you know, still.
I'd still take any of those three over hearing and sight, 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
I
think
can't imagine. Shout out.
I
So
think smell would be the easiest.
shout outs to you. If you're, I would love to hear from you actually. If you're listening to this show, because it is an audio show, and you are vision impaired or blind or any of that, I would love to hear, I don't know, how you get through it or what it's been like or any of your experiences. Because
Would you love a solution? Would you?
Yeah, that
hate on
too.
the
Would you
people
like a
creating
cure?
Solutions?
I would like to hear your thoughts. Would you enjoy if it was cured, or do you want to be adamant about it? I don't
Yeah, I'd
know.
like
I
to
just
actually hear
it's
that.
one of those
I-
things.
Do you have a community of blind people who don't want? Do you know anyone like that in your vicinity that doesn't want to be cured? You know what's really funny is since visually impaired people, they have to use screen readers most of the time to navigate the internet. Is You know, when they click on a Twitter thread, their reader reads out all of the insane replies and back and forth Twitter fights.
Do you think they give them voices?
Amusing. I don't know. Maybe they have add-ons. Who knows? It would be funny, right? Like those old navigation systems where they sold add-ons like celebrity voices.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, it's pretty fucking stupid that you would hate on something that's designed to make your life better.
Yeah, especially for children,
Yeah.
man. I really hate it when they try to intervene with children getting better. Because those are like some of the most adorable, wholesome videos on the internet is disabled kids finally getting some sense back, right? When they, on a blind kid, they put on glasses and suddenly he can see color again or something, a colorblind kid, or he gets his ear implants, or, you know, a little girl with her hand was amputated and they finally got her a robot hand. It's adorable. Good for them.
That'd be the first. If I had that like crazy kind of fuck you money, that'd probably be one of the first things I'd start exploring. Ways to like improve those type of things and improve like bio machines, like those robot hands and stuff. 100%.
Yeah, they're dope.
It's just jealousy. It's always just jealousy. It's deaf people. They look and they go, well, wait a minute. He gets to be cured and he's just a kid. I've been deaf for however long, or this and that. That's all it ever is.
I don't think so, because it's open to them too. No. They're just actively declining it.
No. You don't get it. So let's say you're deaf from birth, and you're
you just don't get it, Charlie.
Let's say you're deaf from birth and you're 50 years old, and then they've just now today cured deafness. So you look and you go, well, wait a minute, that kid's only been deaf and he's 10? I've been deaf for 50 years and they now just cured it? What the fuck? And then it warps into, well, you shouldn't cure deafness. I've lived with it. It's my life. I don't need to be cured.
That's actually a case where
I think it's just a general Twitter person feeling like a general Twitter person usually does when they're in an echo chamber constantly.
I could get that.
Well, the echo chamber doesn't help for sure, but I'm talking about where it starts.
I would see that as an exception if somebody, you know, if you're 50 years old and you've been deaf from birth. I kind of get if at that point you just not choose to get that surgery. I mean, monetary side aside, because if for 50 years your brain has never heard a sound, what's going to happen once they turn that thing on? Your brain is going to be so overwhelmed by a new sense it's never had before. Would your brain even know how to process the information?
He just comes in his pants the second he hears a wet fart somewhere in the distance.
Has a seizure.
Right. I mean, wouldn't it be like if somebody just injected you with an overdose of a drug, suddenly you feel things when you have no idea. Your brain just doesn't know how to process it. I wonder if there's just an evolutionary thing in our brains where even after 50 years, it could take it, but I don't know.
Yeah, it just immediately knows what it is. What if they hear something different than us? What if they hear like Satan or something? Like they're tapped into a different realm of sense.
Yeah, I don't know. But I wonder about that sometimes. I wonder if the red that I see is the red everyone else sees.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Right.
Like you can't know because you're not in the other person's perspective or consciousness.
No, we want to hear from disabled people. I wonder if there's anybody who actually cannot feel, like touch or taste or smell.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Oh yeah.
If you would fix that.
I just can't see how if you had some kind of impairment in your life where it made it actively harder for you to live life, like just society wasn't set up for something like that. Like maybe there's not a ramp at your favorite cinema or whatever, so it makes it actively harder to engage with. Why you wouldn't want to fix that?
I'm all for the movement where you empowered disabled people, where you don't treat them
where
as
you make
lesser.
society easier for them. But that's what this is doing as well, though. You are making it easier for them by fixing the problem.
Exactly. I'm all for that, where you don't treat them lesser or any of that, but don't just say it's not something you have to deal with. It is a problem. It is a thing. You can't just ignore it.
Problem.
Yeah. Do we have anything else? Is that it?
No, that's a powerful note to end on, I think, unless anyone else has anything.
No, it's been long enough. We can wrap. So in conclusion, thank you to all the heroes who've given their lives for our amusement. Larry Tesler with the copy and paste, which we all use. Jens, Young, Knut, whatever the fuck, Lego figures. Thank you for inventing those, bringing
For
joy,
keeping Jackson happy.
for keeping Jackson happy and countless millions of children around the globe. Thank you, Jonathan Watson, for killing 2 child molesters, making the world a better place, and Mike Hughes for making us all smile with Schadenfreude. You are
you're a
treasures.
goddamn
Beautiful
legend,
week.
Mike. Some say he's still soaring in a rocket to this day.
It's funny that it literally would have been easier for him to just construct a gigantic slingshot and just actually use a backpack parachute. It would have been
Yeah.
so much easier. Wait a fucking minute. Why didn't he just do that? He could have. Okay, so Jesus. All right. I know we want to wrap this up, but there's so many unanswered questions. Why didn't he just go parachuting? Go on the plane. Okay, I get it. The Windows distort reality or whatever. Okay, so jump out of the plane then with your
I
parachute.
think the idea
That's a
was to
good
go
point.
higher than the skydiving planes.
Can't you
So-
rent a fucking low orbital flight? And couldn't he have done something with that?
I've certainly never heard of that.
Well, I mean,
never heard of a
the
low
Red Bull
orbital
guys
flight?
did it.
Not a rentable one.
The
Oh,
Red Bull
rentable, I
motherfucker
get- maybe
basically
not.
entered the orbit, didn't he? He was like so up high. So, he could have done
Yeah, but
that.
that was like a huge thing. I don't think they take Mad Mike Hughes in the Red Bull rocket.
Oh well.
Can you imagine if you went to like a big extreme sports event with Red Bull and they've got like skydivers and motocross and all that shit? And the announcer says, and now to prove the earth is flat, Mad Mike.
Mad Mike. He's unconscious on his descent. And it just splats.
Oh, he did not
His
stick
body
the
just
landing.
slams into the middle of the stadium.
He just launches himself into the bleachers. It's like a NASCAR crash.
It takes on a whole spectacle of fans.
It's like Dale Earnhardt's just blowing apart in the wall. Fucking
On
awesome.
that note, thank
Such
you
a great
everyone.
visual. They put sunglasses on him so people don't know how fucked up he is.
Just dress him up like Sonic on the opening of the movie. Make the smoke
Alright.
blue. All right, sorry. Our thoughts are with his family. Very sad time.
Yeah. Very serious situation. Sorry, Mike.
One day
if
the
you're up
earth
there.
will be flat, Mike. Don't you worry.
All
One
right.
step closer to his goal. All right. Thanks everyone for listening. We've got a new Patreon episode, bonus episode over at patreon.com/theofficialpodcast. For $5 a month, you get about 2 extra episodes. Within that time span, we talk
And
the
live.
same
You
way
get
we
to
talk
listen
on
live.
these main.
Well, as
Yeah.
we're still recording, you get to hang in the chat, give us tips and little memes. Mm-hmm. All right.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to my co-hosts. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Goodbye.